What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to YGOPD, your Yu-Gi-Oh! Professional Development, and today I have something a little bit different for you. I have a Salamangreat Mathmech deck. I featured this quite a while ago on my channel, maybe almost 6 months to a year ago, and wanted to re-explore this post-Syac. I've done a lot of testing with the Defensor stuff, as well as some of the Decent Worm, the new fusions and things, and I landed on something a little bit different, but I really like it. I think this deck concept is relatively unexplored, and hopefully is something a bit more refreshing than just Mathmech plus 20 hand traps. So before we get started, I want to say thank you to all my new subs. I will have the rollout in the credits of this video this time. There is quite a lot, but with that I will be all caught up and be able to make individual shout outs following this video. But again, thank you all to subscribing to the channel, and with all that said, we'll go ahead and hop right into the deck profile. Okay, starting with the main deck, this deck is pretty much a 25% split across the board, about as close as I could get it. I'll get things adjusted here between Mathmech, Salamangreat, consistency pieces, and defensive cards. But I'll start with the Mathmech engine, then do the Salamangreat engine, then the kind of consistency bridge, as well as the defensive cards. But with the Mathmech engine, you're on 3 circular, not much needs to be said there. A 1-card combo that gets you a minimum of a 3 negates plus like whatever you want, either IP, just Heat Soul, Link Karibo with Cyber's Wicked, and follow up just does a ton by itself. After that, we are on Triple Sigma. This is a different build. Again, like I said, with Salamangreat, this is probably the second most important name because it pairs with your normal summon. It's one of the few that can special summon themselves out from hand or grave without having to target something that already exists, like addition or subtraction. So if you go first, you don't have to commit to a normal summon yet, and this card pairs with a normal summon really, really well. After that, triple diameter, not much needs to be said here. This is the best normal summon in the deck. If you like different things with Salad and want to play a heavier go-to, you could do Flame Buffalo. I had tested that, but the more I leaned on it, I liked how heavily the Mathmech does perform, and then the Mathmech itself will eventually bridge into the Salad. I'll talk about that when I get there, but 3 diameter is pretty straightforward. And then after that, we are just rounding out the names with 2 addition and 1 subtraction. I was originally on 2 and 2, but cut 1 subtraction again to make room for the 3rd Sigma. Sigma's pretty straightforward, like I said, pairs with a normal summon and is the only name that can special itself other than circular without having to commit to anything prior on the board. Rounding out the engine, we just play the 1 super factorial. I think that's pretty straightforward, but that's it for the Mathmech piece. For the Salamangreats, we do play triple Salamangreat circle. This is probably, again, not much to be said here. The best quote-unquote starter and or searcher for any of your Salad plays. Really just adds any name you need. We are not playing a lot of them because the Mathmech really does bridge into the engine very, very well. But as that goes for names, we are on 1 Gazelle, 1 Falco, and 1 Jack Jaguar. Even in the adventure build I did a while back, there weren't a lot of names, and the more I tested, I still don't think you need a lot of names. You can play the adventure stuff, but I think that's really only better if you're doing more of the 3-axis focused with Mirage Stalio and things like that. This is much more of a rank 4 focused build, so you want the 2 best level 4 names in the deck that it can produce, which is Jack Jaguar and Falco and Gazelle. This is essentially a very condensed, very powerful engine that allows you to resource loop as well as build interruptions. Rounding out the Salad package is 1 Rage, 1 Roar, and 1 Sanctuary. So just 9, 3 names, 3 circle, and then 1 of each of the most amazing cards the engine can have to offer, quote unquote, the brick 2 in terms of Sanctuary. So that's it for the Salad package. Okay, for the consistency pieces, we're on a unique card here, Triple Signet Backdoor. This card I think has been overlooked quite a bit, but fits really well as a home in this deck. It targets a Cybers monster on your field as cost, banishes it, and then you can add a Cybers from your deck to your hand that has less attack than what you banished. Essentially, this is another way to dodge hand traps like Veiler, Imperm, Ogre on cards like your Alambertian. Still have the Alambertian resolve to get your search, and then you automatically search and bridge into stuff like Salamangreat Gazelle, and you have your full other engine going, or vice versa. You climb into a card like Sunlight Wolf or something, they try to nib you, chain this, get rid of the wolf, and then you go ahead and then add your Mathmech Circular, and then you can keep playing. The monster you banish comes back during the following turn. You treat this as kind of like a Heavenly Dragon Circle, but better because you get that monster back and you still get the search, which is really, really nice. 3, Signet Mining. Not much needs to be said here. The best searcher for any Cybers deck. Again, droll format does kind of suck, but in reality, this is just a high consistency piece that it is valuable. Worst case, the nice thing about this deck is if they do droll you, you can do things like get to Gazelle instead. Salamangreat does a lot of dumping out of the grave and then adding stuff back, so it kind of helps you play through droll a bit. And then the last consistency piece I am on is 3 Sakatama from the newly released Cyberstorm Access. I really like this card. I actually like it a bit better than Parallel Exceed because my ultimate goal is to play into rank 4s first. Like I don't want to summon, make a Link Rebo or something like that, get 2 parallels, and then hope Parallel resolves and going on. And I also got sick of just opening double Parallel and things like that. Opening 2 of this isn't the end of the world because you can still at least use it. And then the other one is Follow Up. Having that extra Parallel in hand kind of sucks. This can also be turned into Salamangreat Almirage because it's less than 1,000, so it does get you into a name. But it feels really nice even in awkward hands. Like if you open Diameter and Parallel, it's kind of weird, but opening Diameter plus this is insane because you still get an Alimbertion, you get your search, you get your full combo, and the negate from Diameter goes to the Alimbertion is already online. Really powerful card, really like it. A few decks have played this, but if you've not explored this in Mathmech, maybe as just something to try or an alternative to a card like Parallel Exceed, I recommend it. It's really, really cool, and I've had a great time with it. After that, the rest of the deck, the last kind of 25%, are just hand traps / go second pieces, however you want. This is up to you. Again, this is a 40 card list. 3 droll, I think, is kind of low-key mandatory, one of the hardest turn skips in the game right now, maybe shy of Shifter, depending on what matchups you're playing, but droll, again, is really, really powerful. And then the generics, of course. Triple Ash, I think this is underrated, this format. This just does hit quite a lot. Sometimes you want to, instead of waiting to get their search and then droll them, maybe you just don't want that search to happen in the first place. Branded is still peaking up in popularity with all the crazy new support they got, so Ash is still really good. And then Imperm, the most versatile hand trap slot you have as a good going first or going second card. So not much needs to be said about that. That is the main deck, clean 40 cards, Mathmech Salad. I'll showcase a bit of the extra and kind of talk about how they bridge into each other as I go. Starting off, we have one access code talker. Might as well be called that, Mathmech talker. Again, closes games. That's the other nice thing about playing this deck. Between this and Update Jammer, this deck just cheeses out wins. It's really, really unfair to an extent. And then for the 3s, we play 1 transcode, 1 heat soul, and 1 unicorn. Heat soul isn't terribly necessary, but it's just nice to have. If your hand is kind of awkward and this is the only thing you can get to, it's still better than nothing. After that, we play 2 Sunlight Wolf. 2 is truly only really how much you need. You're going to be doing a lot of recycling. You have to resource manage pretty carefully, but with cards like Jack Jaguar and things like that, and then Sunlight Wolf's own effect, you can recycle back through them pretty quickly. Other 2s include 1 Update Jammer, 1 Splash Mage, and 1 IP Masquerena. Not much really needs to be said about that. Your typical end board goes back and forth between either doing Sun Wolf IP plus the Factorial Trap, or Sunlight Wolf plus the Factorial Trap, and then maybe either Roar or Rage. For the 1s, we are on 2 Balinks. You really only need 2. How this typically bridges is you're doing your full Mathmech combo, and then you're typically on 2 names after that. You would see the end of that typically going into Splash Mage and then into Heat Soul. What instead you could do is link both of those into 2 Balinks. You get a search off the 1 Balinks to get Sanctuary, and then if you don't have a fire on the board in terms of subtraction or addition, you can turn that into a fire, so then you use both of those Balinks to go ahead and make a Sunlight Wolf. So that's really how the bridge happens. That's why you don't need a lot of names, because all the Mathmechs are level 4 or lower Cybers that transform into a Salamangreat name and a fire through Balinks. The last couple of 1s here are 1 Lingaribo, pretty straightforward, just insulates a lot of your plays, and then 1 Almirage, again for the Sakatama, is pretty much why that's there. And then the last 2 extra deck pieces are, of course, the 1 Alimbertion and the 1 Laplation. Need that for your Mathmech combo. So that's it for the main deck. That's it for the extra deck. A clean 40 cards, a new take, and hopefully a refreshed take on Mathmech Salamangreat. If you're looking for something different to play and tool around with, that's not just pure math plus 20 hand traps, and want to have some fun, have some unique plays, grind, really get something different going in terms of game mechanics, things like that, this is a really cool deck to explore. I really, really do like it. I think it's a neat deck that when it pops back up and we have kind of a, low point in the format as things are still being explored at tier 2 and rogue status, outside of just, Pearly and Super Heavy Samurai, this is a really good go-to. But thank you all so much for watching. Thank you again to all of my amazing new subs that have joined the community and joined the channel. Thank you all so much. If you want to join, make sure your subscriptions are public when you subscribe so I can shout you out in the next video. But with all that said, thank you all for watching. If you want to see combo videos of this, comment down below. Give some love. I can do some live duels. But with all that said, I'll see you all in the next one. Later.